Hey guys, welcome to today's episode, and today's guest wins the award for the longest name ever. His name is Philipp Samor Von Holtzendorff-Fehling. I mean, have you ever heard of a name longer than that? We are talking about just overall wellness and how quantum technology can help make an important impact on our overall wellness. So Philipp, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me on. I'm excited.
So I want to first start with, you are just kind of the king of overall wellness. So I want to kind of hear, what does the day in the life of Philipp look like?
Yeah, so for me, I don't have a daily routine that I apply literally every day because it's not possible in my lifestyle, because I travel sometimes internationally for work, to conferences, and then also going back and forth between Costa Rica and Florida. But there's certain themes that I apply on a regular basis. So when I can, for example, right now I'm in Florida, I actually try to get at least a half-hour workout in the morning, and that is partially a vibration plate that I'm on. I don't know if people know what that is, so you turn that on.
Something happened, and we literally lost your sound for like about 10 seconds during that.
Okay.
You're going to have to just repeat. I'll get them to edit all that, but just go ahead and start that whole section over.
Okay, so for me, it's not a daily routine that I apply all the time because I travel a whole lot, and I sometimes can't do the exact same things because here in Florida, I have different biohacking tools, for example, than in Costa Rica or when I travel to a conference, right? So right now here, where I'm at in Florida, I get up and I try to get 30 to 45-minute workout in every morning, and I start with a vibration plate. Then I actually afterwards do some kundalini yoga. I'm a kundalini yoga teacher trainer myself, and I try to do that at least 4 or 5 days a week. Then I have a red light sauna, full spectrum red light sauna that I also try to go in for at least 30 minutes every day when I'm here. And I also apply intermittent fasting for, I would say, at least 4, if not 5 days a week. And the way that looks for me personally is usually I then eat just literally once a day only. And sometimes I eat twice a day, but then over a period of maybe 3 hours, right? Something like that. And then in addition to that, I try to play tennis. I would say 3 to 5 times a week. And then if I do that, it's a little harder with the intermittent fasting because it's just my body needs more food. So I sometimes then stretch the time of eating to 4 or 5 hours, at very most 6 hours. But I try to do that a lot, and I apply quantum technology and frequency medicine that we developed ourselves to actually significantly increase the impact of all of these things that I'm doing. And by the way, I'm also taking certain supplements, not all the time, but that's also something where I try to target certain things that I'm working on personally. That in a nutshell is what I do. If I'm in Costa Rica, it changes up a little bit because I don't play tennis there. I do surfing and I do beach walks with my dog. So there's other things I do, but I always try to do things that really do me good.
Did you guys know that 97% of Americans are deficient in at least one mineral? It's true. You need more than a dozen minerals for your body to function at its best. But with the standard American diet, it's almost impossible. So here's where B Minerals comes in. Guess what? All you have to do, take one little shot of this one little shot of this one, and guess what? It looks like this, but it tastes like water. Take one shot, and boom, in 30 seconds a day, you're getting an entire thing of minerals instead of an entire cabinet of supplement bottles. So with Beam Minerals, we make mineral balance simple. Yeah, and I love that because I think, a lot of people that I know that do intermittent fasting just 5 days a week, and then the other 2 days, maybe they've extended their window. It allows your body to not be expecting it every day. Like 5 days a week, you're getting that autophagy. There's so many benefits. But then 2 days a week, you're kind of allowing your body to go, okay, we're gonna eat in a longer window. And I think that actually helps with weight loss. So I think that a lot of people get so stringent, like I have to do intermittent fasting 7 days a week. And that's not necessarily true. I like the 5-day approach that you're doing. Talk a little bit about some of the supplements that you feel have been really important in your life.
Mm-hmm. So one is C60. We actually produce that ourselves. We have capsules that is C60 with black seed oil and with astaxanthin that works really, really well. It helps with getting rid of senescent cells. It adds you can add millions of new stem cells very, very quickly. It's the best antioxidant and, it helps with free radicals. It's pretty awesome that way. I don't want to go into more details.
So for people who have never heard of carbon 60 or C60, talk a little bit about some of the potential health benefits, because I think this is a very new supplement that a lot of people have not heard of. So talk about what the structure looks like and what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it literally fights off inflammation at the core of the inflammation in the cells better than anything known. At this point, that has been studied in multiple ways. There's lots of different aging and health benefits, and the way it was found out is what I'm going to now mention, because that may be getting people interested also in looking this up, because the University of Paris, which is quite a substantial university in Europe, did a study quite a long time ago in regards to carbon 60, and it was a study to figure out the toxicity of carbon 60, because carbon 60 started to be used by NASA and in medical applications and other things, and they needed to know the lethal doses basically of that substance. And then what they do in these studies, they take rats, usually in this case it was P52 knockout rats that are genetically programmed to die after a specific time, and then they had a control group of rats. By the way, I'm not at all a fan of any studies with animals at all. Like I'm really not a fan of that. But no impact, I couldn't influence that, right? So that study was regardless done. There was a control group of rats and then another group of rats that actually got the C60. And then so they try to figure out at what point is it toxic and at what point do the rats then die. They wouldn't die. It was also no sign of toxicity. And then they shuffled it literally down their throats. Like they gave them more and more and more C60 and thought, okay, now this is going to hurt them. This is going to kill them. But long story short, what ended up happening is that all the control group rats died at some point, and all the C60 rats did not die. And they actually ended up living twice as long as the control rats, even though they then during this time, they were figuring, damn, I mean, that was not really our task in this study to figure out how long can they live with C60. We were supposed to show like how they could die, how could it be toxic. Then in between, they hit these rats with lethal doses of radiation, with cancer-causing medication, and none of this hurt the rats. And so, as a matter of fact, the last rat in the experiment they had to kill, which they then did, and they also cut the rats open afterwards, and they found that all the organs were in perfect health. So that is quite significant, right? That is the most amazing study ever done in regards to longevity, if you think about it. Obviously, it wasn't done on humans, but that also would be quite tough to do, right? Because that would be a very, very long study. So it had some indications. It didn't end up in the mainstream, obviously, otherwise everyone would know about it. But you know how things are, right? Just apply some common sense why it may not have ended in the mainstream. But a lot of scientists across the world, and maybe not a lot, but quite some, picked up on this study and then started doing their own research. Yeah, and we've been working on C60 for quite a long time, and it's quite a fascinating molecule with a lot of
And I've heard
action.
that with C60 that, or carbon 60, however you want to say it, that it can regulate eczema and joint pain and inflammation. Like those three pieces, it has a huge impact on. Have you seen that with anyone so far?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it helps people with arthritis. It helps with many different things. It literally fights off inflammation right at the core. And, it also gives you a lot of energy that you can literally feel relatively quickly if you take C60, because it puts your body into homeostasis if you take enough of it. And yeah, so just don't take it at night. That's a common mistake people do, because it is quite stimulating. So just take it in the AM.
And what else do you take?
So certain vitamins, every now and then. I work with frequency medicine quite a bit, so I do not take as much anymore as I used to, because I can work a lot with frequency and with even vitamins and minerals that I get in frequency form, so I didn't need to take the physical supplement. But, I would look into vitamin D, vitamin C, certainly. Vitamin B12 is something I like, especially because I have a quite heavy vegetarian diet. I do eat meat and fish every now and then, but it's not heavy. And then urolithin A for muscle performance. That's a pretty good one. And then I mix stuff up, right? This year I'm actually going to play several national level tennis tournaments.
Yeah, I play tennis too, and I just got back from the Miami Open.
Awesome.
And yeah, I just watched the girl. We went to the finals, and I have a little bit of rheumatoid arthritis, and so the girl who won the finals, I don't know if you know, she actually has rheumatoid arthritis, and really it said this is going to be her final year because of the rheumatoid arthritis. She decided she's going to give up tennis and she's going to retire. She also I live in Virginia, and she went to UVA. And so it was just such an exciting game. It was like one of those, back to back to back. And she ended up winning, and it was just so much fun to be at that, because plus if you have, I have some arthritis issues. So, if you can really, you're like, she's now retiring from tennis, and I love tennis so much. And it just was a really magical day.
Yeah, well, that sounds fantastic. Great. Yeah, I wish I could talk to her and help her out with some advice, because what we do is quite helpful on that level. But anyway, so for me personally, it's like this is the year of where I'm, trying to be very fit and trying to play some tournaments. I don't do that on a regular basis, but this year I decided to do that. And that also means that I focus on muscle performance, on cell performance, ATP production, all these good things. And so I align my supplementation around that a little bit, and then during other times it may be different.
I don't know about you guys, but I am stressed. And if you're feeling overwhelmed this holiday season, then I get it. With all the family get-togethers, it is just a relentless source of stress. But anyway, there is something that I've got called Stress Guardian, and it's actually made by Bioptimizers, the people who make the magnesium breakthrough, which I love, love, love. But anyway, they are literally made this new product. It has 14 adaptogenic herbs, and it just regulates your stress. I just actually took some right this second, and it's awesome. If you go to stressguardian.com/wasteaway, and put in Waste Away for 10% off your first order. It's stressguardian.com/wasteaway. Go there now.
Guys, I just want to interrupt for just a second, and I want you to hear Paul Saladino talk about why liver is so important. And if you don't like liver, we have another option for you.
Your ancestors were eating liver. And the reason that this sort of wisdom has been passed down is because liver is very nutritious. It's basically nature's multivitamin. If you look at the nutrients in meat, they're great. You've got zinc, you got B6, you got B12, you got some K2. But if you look at liver, it really complements what's in muscle meat. And there are many unique nutrients found in organs, specifically liver as a powerhouse of these, that are difficult to obtain outside of liver. Like meat and organs are like peanut butter and jelly. They just go together. They're supposed to be eaten together. The easiest way to eat liver is just to do it raw. If you don't want to eat liver raw, you can cook it. But the reason that I like to do it raw is because there are unique nutrients in liver that are probably somewhat degraded when you cook the liver.
This really is like the most nutrient-rich supplements that you can find, and they are amazing. I have tried them. I absolutely love them. So just go to heartandsoil.co, use the coupon code Chantel Ray, and save you some money there.
So talk about a little bit about what you're doing with frequency, because it's really kind of a new thing that people are talking about. Explain what quantum tech is and kind of how frequency can really help heal your body. And I want you to talk about with parasites as well.
Yeah. So the first thing that people need to understand is that we're energy and frequency at core. That is what most people forget in our daily lives that are just so focused. We sort of end up thinking we're our thoughts and our physical body. We're energy and frequency at core. Okay. So, and if we can accept that, which is a fundamental truth of our existence, actually, then we can also allow the thought, wow, then I can actually, if a vibration comes my way, I can leverage it. If a frequency comes my way, I interact with a frequency, right? And it can be different types of frequencies. Obviously there's electromagnetic frequencies, but there's molecular frequencies, etheric frequencies, sound frequencies, all kinds of different frequencies. But I'll give you one example. If I ingest a vitamin C pill, what ends up in the core of the cell is not the vitamin C substance. It's just the information of the vitamin C. Okay, and the information is basically the same thing as frequency, right? That's pretty much the same thing. So we developed the technology that can imprint pure quantum energy into any object, and it's pretty much like a high consciousness field. You can also say a strong, powerful quantum energy field. If you then and the breakthrough really was to harness this energy and concentrate it in a way never done before, so that when you touch it, for example, you have certain benefits, and measurably, it's been scientifically proven to optimize the blood within minutes, increase your ATP production, to even accelerate wound healing of actual human cells quite significantly, help with heart rate variability. There's lots of great things it can do, and it's just energy. It's because it's a specific energy field that promotes changes when your energy field, that you are an energy field, right? You don't need to do anything to be an energy field. That's just what you are. If you interact with that, okay? So if you get in contact with that, if a human cell that is damaged gets in contact with that field, it heals literally faster than a human cell that is not exposed to the field. And that's been shown by a university professor in randomized double-blind studies. So I'm just referencing that. That is just one thing of it. And then you can combine this quantum energy with specific frequencies. For example, we have, developed this so-called heal capsule, or a water bottle that contains the same frequencies as this heal capsule. And it includes, for example, the molecular frequency of the most important vitamins and minerals for the human body. So the vitamin C, D, B, all this kind of good stuff, and the most important minerals for the human body, all in frequency form. So when you wear it, then you actually provide this information to the cells, and then one of two things happen. either you're in this group of the 95% of the people that still then take supplements, like I still take supplements, but you can take less. And when you take them, they work better, provided that it's, part of what's in this Heal capsule, right? There's about 80 different frequencies in there, but urolithin A, for example, isn't in there, so that you would still have to always take physically. So then it works better, it works stronger, even C60, right? If you had a C60 in frequency form, then you take the actual C60, the C60 would work stronger on your body when you take it. But there's also 5 to 10% of the people that when they just have the frequencies of these supplements, they maintain optimal vitamin and mineral levels without taking any supplementation. That's even been done by people that have had thyroid issues, and they had to take medication for thyroids, and then they actually used our technology to create the frequency of what they were taking, and then just leveraging the frequencies, and they were able to get off the medication. Now, this is something where in this field, there's more research to be done, and I don't suggest to anyone at this point to try this or to do this. You're right. If we're getting into things like that, that's solely at your own risk. But it's been done. It's been publicly reported by this person. So that is, in essence, what frequency medicine is. And it's quite an interesting field. And certainly there's sound frequencies too that can do certain things. People may have heard of a Rife machine, for example, that, that's a different type of frequency, but it is also frequency, right? So with a Rife machine, you could kill certain bacteria that you have, or you can target Lyme. Now, I think, we talked a little bit beforehand, so what can our technology actually do in regards to maybe Lyme? Or in regards to parasite, which, these two things are actually quite related, right? Parasites and Lyme. And it's interesting because there's a whole bunch of research going on at the moment. I think by now there have been about 8 different randomized, blinded studies in regards to live blood analysis with our technology, gold standard studies by Dr. Rubik in the U.S. and by the Besa Institute in Austria. And now what the Besa Institute found, and they were not looking at parasites, actually. They were just looking at red blood cells, white blood cells, and saw these amazing changes. But as a side effect, they noticed, wow, this is incredible. There was a significant reduction in parasitic load in the blood in the people that were treated with our technology. And already after 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, they saw these changes. In one case, it was even an 80% reduction. Again, I think in that case, it was 15 minutes. So we know for a fact that there's something happening, and it's been reported in multiple people by the Besa Institute. But since that was not a dedicated study to just look at the parasites, they looked at other things primarily. So now I went back and said, well, this topic with parasites is so interesting for us. Couldn't you just go back and look at all the pictures of the studies and check for each individual their parasitic load before and after using the technology? So now they're actually going in so that we get way more data points. But yeah, it's very, very promising.
Did you guys know that your thyroid's main food is iodine? And guess what? Mercury and other toxins gobble up your selenium, and your thyroid glands need selenium to convert iodine to thyroxine. So if you have mercury fillings and with all the toxins and mold, your selenium just gets gobbled up. So here's the bottom line. I take something called Peak Thyroid. It's got iodine, it's got copper, and it's got selenium. Everything you need to get your thyroid back to functioning without medicine. So go to chantelrayway.com/upgraded formulas. Use the coupon code ChantelRay to get a huge discount. Well, this has been awesome. Tell listeners where they can find you and where they can follow you.
Yeah, okay, so it's leelaq.com would be the website. That is LEELAQ.com. And then, we have a Telegram community. It's a private community, so you cannot find it on Telegram, but you can find it through our website. Somewhere there's a Telegram icon. and then you can get in there, and then you have, I think by now, around about 7,000 active users that are crazy enough to be active on Telegram and to post about our technology because they love it and they learn and share. It's a high vibe community. So if you want to hear about the tech from other people, not me, go there and yeah, ask questions, if you want. And you can find me there as well.
Awesome. Well, you guys stay tuned. We've got another episode coming up in just a few. Bye-bye for now.